May 2012, Western Myanmar. A Buddhist woman is raped and murdered. The authorities charged 3 Muslim men. A week later, 10 Muslims were murdered in a revenge attack. What happened next was hidden from the outside world.
Malaysia Malaysian ekogatam maje gat Korea Malaysian jagon tohon nijebaje ai ashila. Puino pejang de robaje di khai mi na di khai lu myo ro mapyaw pyaw ro thain thin song chhaw pho so tawan shi de lo pyo chin ba
mare guli mare arai mare ba machna chara se mare dua mare bil mare te lo dulu se de manush mara
isara to khone ke mara ha mara la nai yara de mari khon dil da dunu mujhe ngole kiye mari allah wase kiye na jane.
This is a story of a people fleeing the land where they were born, of a people deprived of citizenship in their homeland. It is the story of the Rohingya of Western Myanmar, whose very existence as a people is denied.
No Rohingya people in history. It is fabricated history, concocted history, just only fictitious history.
Some believe it is a deliberate attempt to end the Rohingya's existence as a people.
Denying their history, denying the legitimacy of their right to live where they live. These are all warning signs that mean that it's not frivolous to envisage the use of the term genocide.
For centuries, this region of Western Myanmar was known as Arakan. It was renamed Rakhine by the state's largest racial group. The Rakhine trace their identity to a complex of ancient Buddhist temples and monasteries at Ro'u. For nearly 4 centuries, it served as the capital of an independent Rakhine kingdom. It was from here that Buddhism first spread throughout Myanmar. Today, Rakhine State lies on Myanmar's western coast, and its northern tip borders Bangladesh. Around 1 million Buddhist Rakhine and 800,000 Muslim Rohingya live here. Britain invaded what was then called Burma in 1824. For half a century, it was governed as a province of British India. The colonial administration brought Muslims from what is now Bangladesh to work in Rakhine State. Many settled and were resented by the Buddhist majority. The Rakhine consider themselves a distinct race, separate from the majority Burmese. They call the Rohingya Bengalis and consider them illegal immigrants, even those whose forefathers settled here generations ago. Yunan Darbar Tar is a prominent monk in the state capital, Sitwe. He believes the Muslim Rohingya are not just a threat to the Rakhine, but to Myanmar's Buddhist identity. The Rohingya do not accept the naming of Rakhine State. They call it Arakan. They claim roots that go back centuries to early Muslim settlers in the region. For generations, the two communities have lived parallel lives. For half a century, Myanmar lived under various forms of military dictatorship. In 2010, Aung San Suu Kyi, the symbol of resistance to military rule, was released after nearly 2 decades of house arrest. She won a seat in Myanmar's parliament following free and open elections. But democracy has not brought universal freedom. In Rakhine State, it's unleashed a new patriotism. A Rakhine Nationalist Party became the largest in the state assembly. What happened in May 2012 sparked a chain of events that has scarred Myanmar's nascent democracy. Our story begins in a Buddhist town where Rohingya are rarely seen. The Myanmar state media reported that 3 Muslim men had entered a Rakhine neighborhood and raped and murdered a 27-year-old Buddhist woman. The short life of Ma Tida Tway was to ignite a tinderbox. On the next morning in the state capital, Sittwe, the Rakhine Nationalist Party was holding its inaugural conference. News of the rape spread through the hall. Delegates were outraged. Their party leader, Dr. A. Mong, claimed the assault had political overtones.
Milan
Graphic images of Ma Tida Tway's corpse circulated on the internet. Whispers spread amongst Rakhine that the rape was part of a Rohingya plot. "200 kilometers from Sittwe, near where the rape occurred, is Tongu, a town with a reputation for being fiercely anti-Muslim.
No Muslim, no Bengali living in that town. Because the town people, town folk, don't allow any Bengali to come in.
But on Sunday evening, a bus carrying 10 Muslim men did attempt to travel through Tongu. The bus was stopped by a mob of around 300 people. In the northern town of Mongdor, where over 90% of the population is Rohingya, there was foreboding when they heard the news. Nur Hakim sold clothes at a market stall.
Sono for Arab is in Tagurit, our Mogakan Arabe, Aram Musamman Enkin Gorad Buliere, Maviera, Tarala, Mashid, the Savisiago, Hokumote, Bisar Goribo, Goribo, and Hoko Manishri. Higher are Bisavian, no.
It was the first Friday prayers since the murder of the pilgrims. The Rohingya planned to protest. The Rakhine ordered mosques to close. Hamid Jamil lived in a village just outside of Mongdor.
ရခိုင်တွေကိုမင်းချိုးမယ်လို့အစီအမံရှိပြီးသားပဲ
Many imams ignored the government order to close mosques. Attending prayers at the Juba Mosque in Mongdor was Aman Mahmood.
এটা হচ্ছে মগর দাসে গিয়াছে কিয়ান আছে সেন্ট আছে খুব বেশি মুসলমান তালা মারা শুরু করেছে
After prayers, hundreds of Rohingya men gathered in the town centre and marched toward a Rakhine district. Asina Siddiq watched from a house on Mongdor's main street.
এতর মধ্যে পুলিশে দাস মোজ বেয়ে দিগের ওলমিকে গুলি মসজিদ ওলমিকা গুলি মসজিদে দাস মোজ দাস সিরে চিট্টি মিকে উজার বি এতর পুলিশে দাস গার জগর গুলি মসজিদ কি আমাদের মোজ দাস মরে গিয়ে বাদার ফলজন গুলি হাই
It's not clear whether these pictures were taken before the shooting or were a response to it. But sometimes